Well, the other big story, we're tracking the prices of LPG across all categories, including subsidized gas, has been hiked by 25 rupees a cylinder, the third straight increase in rates in less than 2 months. We've got the prices in the major cities. But let me quickly go across to my panel. I'm joined by Supriya Srinit of the Congress Party and Rajat Sethi. Rajat, now the Congress has tweeted saying March 2014 gas cost 410 rupees a cylinder, September 2021 884 rupees a cylinder. In 7 years the cost has more than doubled. This is Modi ji's promise of acche din. How would you respond to that?
Well, I don't want to respond to any political commentary, but just going by the sheer logic, you are not supposed to put out just the price of the cylinder. You also need to put in the subsidy bills. So alongside quoting the price, you can quote a price of zero as well, as long as somebody from India, the Indians, have to pay for the bill of the subsidy. Ultimately, we all understand that the government's revenues are fixed and it needs to be redistributed in the best possible manner. Congress had a formulation. They came out with a Nyaya scheme, which the public thoroughly rejected. BJP has another set of formulation, and they are trying to do the redistribution that way. It could be flawed as well. That is for the public to decide. But purely economically speaking, LPG's gas prices are actually determined by import price parities. The IPP formulation was something that was created by the Congress party itself.
Okay.
So there cannot be two doubts about why did it suddenly increase. The answers is how the Congress revised the policy when it comes to LPG gas
Supriya,
pricing.
the point being made is that the Congress revised the policies. This was something that was bound to happen.
It's absolutely a silly argument to make, and I will tell you why. Because I've covered oil and gas very, very closely. India's LPG prices are decided by the Saudi Aramco LPG prices. And if you go by the Saudi Aramco LPG prices and the exchange rate, India's LPG cylinder should cost you 630 rupees. But in many parts of the country, it's going to cost you as much as 1,000 rupees because of transportation cost and all of that. Yes, we give subsidies. Why is this government not giving LPG subsidies? Because the market price and the controlled price of the LPG cylinder is today the same. So there is no scope for subsidy. Mr. Modi can keep thumping his chest about the Ujjwala scheme. I am right now in Maharajganj, eastern Uttar Pradesh. Not one person is refilling their cylinders. I've met women after women who've said our budgets have gone for a toss, prices of daily living have skyrocketed, and we cannot afford. And what is the government expected to do? LPG prices have gone up by 290 rupees in the last 8.5 months. 290 rupees is a 50% jump over prices that they were in November 2020. There's got to be some respite for people who are reeling under wage losses, who are reeling under job losses. What are we expected to tell those people?
Okay.
That this government is going to look the other way?
In fact, Rajat, she has a point when she says if you look at the Ujjwala Yojana, the second leg was just launched last month by the Prime Minister. That is meant to ease people's access to LPG. But if prices have gone up so much, doesn't it defeat the purpose of the scheme?
Well, there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. What Supriya ji was suggesting was that there is no subsidy. That is factually incorrect, and I want to correct her. 12 cylinders are actually given on subsidized prices. In fact, your introductory comment itself, Vishnuji, was that the subsidized prices are there. There is something called a subsidized pricing. 12 cylinders are provided on subsidized pricing to the poor. And therefore, poor being able to afford or not afford has less to do with the LPG prices per se, but the overall purchasing power. And I think these 2 points are pretty different. We need to need to ensure that there is an all-round growth. There is an all-round growth in the per capita income as well, which should result in buying the purchasing power capacities.
No, but if purchasing power is low and prices go up, then it becomes problematic, no, Rajat?
No, it does. No, absolutely. There is no denying that fact.
Purchasing power is not the factor. It's the root of the issue. We are having this conversation because purchasing power is hit. In a situation like that, if the price goes up, then where does the money come from?
Well, again, as I said, subsidized LPG cylinders prices can be controlled by the government through active interventions, and government will do something about it. For the non-subsidized LPG cylinder, I am not pretty sure because the IPP formulation, which was put in place by the Congress party, still continues, and the government doesn't feel that it is duty bound to subsidize the rich on the non-subsidized
all right.
cylinders.
Supriya, respond to that.
How much soever I disagree with Mr. Sethi, I appreciate his optimism about the government will do something. The government hasn't moved an inch to bring any respite to the common man throughout the corona crisis. I wonder when will the government act? That's the really big question. But hats off to your optimism, Mr. Sethi. You're a supporter, it appears so. However, having said that, I have one more question to ask of this government. At a time like this, what is expected of the central government? You've amassed 23 lakh crore rupees in fuel excise duty. Large chunk of that is the central government's individual share. Why can you not bring in some respite? That's the question everybody is asking. 290 rupee jump. Did you ever imagine LPG could go up like that? And please remember, the 20% GDP hike that this government is celebrating is actually faulted. It's flawed because it's coming on the back of recession. It's coming on the back of huge contraction of 24%.
Okay, Supriya, just half a second. You know, Rajat, I'll let you answer
private consumption has gone down.
Sure, I'll let you answer what Supriya says, but I just want to point out one more thing. Between 2014 and 2021, forget about LPG for a moment. Let's look at everything else. Petrol from 60 rupees, it's gone up to 104 a litre. Diesel from 50 to 98. LPG 414 to 887. Dal from 70 to 138. Ghee from 350 to 567. Sarso oil from 52 to 220. It's catastrophic, particularly in a COVID situation, Rajat.
Please, Vishnuji, let me get back to my original comment. Please understand 60 rupees without you showcasing the number, the amount on the subsidy. How does it complete the picture in the first place? My repeated statement is that you can give it for zero also.
No
somebody has to put the subsidy bill.
There is no subsidy that the government is willing to give.
This is why you devised
no subsidy anymore on fuel, and that's what the problem is.
You devised a formulation for the oil bonds. You said that I'm going to push the cost to the future governments, knowing very well that Congress is not going to come in power. Then why not your people and buy their votes? Literally, this is the only logic for oil bonds. Otherwise, why would oil bonds be still lingering in this country after 7 years of Prime Minister Modi, still paying through the nose year after year? We are still servicing the interest.
No.
Not even
all right,
okay. Amount.
I need to wrap this up.
This point, 60
Vishnu,
rupees is a misnomer. It diverts the attention from the real cost that the nation was.
All right, 15 seconds, please go ahead. Yes.
You know, the oil bond theory has to stop. This lie has to stop. You've amassed 23 lakh crore from fuel taxes. Fuel taxation has been 4.5 lakh crore in the last year alone. Oil bonds have been paid off by only 3% of that money. Who are you lying to, and why are you lying to the people?
All right,
was the oil bond not devised by you just to push the cost?
All right. Both of you, I need to move on to something else. This price hike is going to hit millions of people across the country. Will there be any respite in the future?